Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Lisa's Love and Light. How are you guys doing today? It's good to see you all. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. Thank you all for being here. Um, like I said, I can never tell you what time I'm going to be here, but I can tell you that I will be here Monday through Friday. So please subscribe to the channel so that you can get a notification as to when I'm going to be on the channel. And hit the like button and send me some comments on what you think about these topic of discussions that I'm doing here. And I hope really, guys, that these discussions are helping you, because what I'm doing is I never tell people what to do and what they should do. I'm not a licensed or certified social worker of any sort, but I'm someone who share my experiences about grief and trauma and pain and how I got through it, especially the trigger moments of grief related to loss, the loss of loved ones. So I share my experiences, and hopefully everyone who's listening can take what applies to you, what resonates, and that you can take that information and it can help you as you apply it in your own life. So that's the purpose of this channel here, to help other people by sharing my personal experiences. Today, we're going to be on a different topic, but it's still related to grief and healing. The topic of discussion is the black sheep. And I'm talking about this today because as we speak out our pains and hurts related to grief, trauma, and I don't give specific details. I give some, but not specific ones for various reasons. However, I'm sharing enough information to let you know that I resonate with some of you who may be the black sheep of the family and who may be going through situations related to it, and that I do resonate to that because I myself have gone through a lot of it, and I know the pain related. So, different topics that I'm talking about on this channel will be related to grief and healing. Different pieces. Like you take a puzzle and you have all these pieces on a table and you don't see the picture yet until you start putting the puzzles together, and then you see, what's behind it. So that's the purpose here today. And thank you all for being here. Share this channel with other people because we're here to uplift and to help other people who are going through traumatic experiences in their life and they feel a lot of despair, and some people losing hope because they don't know how to get through it. So what I share here today and on the other videos, I hope is helping you guys because I know what it's like. And especially myself, since I had to go through a lot of traumas and pain and stuff by myself, only God has lifted me up. So let's get into this topic. I hope everyone had a good day and that you are having a good day. The weather is nice out. I was out for a little bit, and because I'm on break this week, and it's good to get out. So let's get into it. I have outlines like I normally do. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It depends on the topic that I'm going to discuss. Um, some people, because I talk to people and I find out information by just people sharing with me, some people are losing hope and in despair because they feel overwhelmed by the pressures, not only the pressures of life, but the losses, the loss of a loved one or traumatic experiences that happen to them. And they feel like there's no way for them to get through it. And one of the things I suggest here, as always on every video, therapy is so helpful. I had to start there, people, because I didn't know what else to do. I was in so much despair and pain because besides the loss, like I talk about a lot here in 2020, the losses of, you know, a lot of losses. I lost about 10 people, my mother, dog, friends, and besides those losses, just things that I had to deal with, that I had to do, with therapy. And I had to start somewhere, and that was the place I started. And then everything else, like that puzzle I talk about, as I started to put the pieces together of my life, of the brokenness and the despair I was feeling and hurt and pain, due to also being a black sheep of the family. And, I had to take piece by piece and put everything together. And it means I had to break things down, look at my life, what was I doing, what lessons I wasn't learning, and etc. I talk a lot here on this channel about lessons because life, like I said, people come into your life for a reason, season, or a lifetime or a lesson. And once that lesson is learned, once you learn a lesson, you don't have to repeat it. Sometimes they'll try to resurface, but you've already learned a lesson. You know what to do. And I had situations that took place in my life that was painful lessons, and sometimes that will try to resurface, and I push it away because I've already learned from that lesson. And once you learn it, you don't really have to repeat it anymore. So, moving forward, I talk about being a black sheep of the family because I come from a family that belongs to a cult like organization that I had no choice in belonging to because my mother went into that when I was about 7 years old. So I don't go into a whole lot of details. I got out of it at 23 because I was not, I asked so many questions about things that didn't make sense to me, and I couldn't follow the rules and regulations of what they wanted and what they thought, and I started to question my relationship with God and life because what I've learned is that God is not a God who's going to force us to serve him. He wants us to naturally love him and come to him. God is a God of grace and mercy, and I'm not here to give a lecture of church or any of that, but I'm talking from my own personal experience and my relationship with God because I'm not religious, but I'm a woman who has a relationship with God, and I know how to make that work for me. And I'm sharing some things here because I had to learn how to lean on him when I was at the lowest point of my life and everyone had left me and abandoned me. And I felt like Job in a Bible. I was down to the ground, less than zero. And family, most of all, when it's supposed to be the rock, the foundation, I never had that with these folks. And I say these folks because I don't resonate with them and they don't resonate with me. And it's been that way most of my life. Um, Not only that, the confirmation of me seeing how much we don't resonate and how much they despise me, because I'm different and because I behave different. I act differently. I have different interests than what they have, and I've always, one of the things I was taught by my mother is how to be independent, and not rely on other people. And that was a lesson I had to learn because I was in a narcissistic 10-year relationship where I was relying on that ex. I had my own job, I had a young son at the time, but the ex, wanted to provide certain things, but it was for a reason. And I took the bait, because this person had a lot more than what I had, at the time. And I took the bait because I thought, this ex really loved me, etc. But it was to manipulate and to control my life. Like, arguments that would take place. It would be like, where would you be if I didn't provide A, B, and C and D for you? Making me even feel less than, I already was feeling. But what I failed to understand at those particular times of my life when I was going through this is that before this ex came into my life, I was paying my own bills. I was doing this, it was a struggle at times, but I was doing it, so I don't really need you for anything. And what I learned from that is what my mother has always taught me: never rely on somebody else. Always, you know, put your trust in God. Because people will do you in whenever, not everyone, but if they see that you're generous, you're nice, and they think that that you're weak when you're nice and you show kindness, and they try to come in and take advantage of you. And I allowed that for 10 years. I was to the point where I was afraid to get out of the relationship because of all the verbal abuse and threats that were made, and etc. And it was a hard lesson to learn because I had broken up a few times, went back, and it was uh, just horrific. But the lesson has been learned. It took a long time. And what I say to you guys today, don't beat up on yourself. Look at what the issues are and see them for what they are. Sometimes, we don't want to believe what we see in front of us, the truth. Because if somebody is wearing a mask, whether it's family members or a relationship or friends or whatever, that mask is going to get twisted up, fall off. You're going to see what's behind that. Believe what you see. If something is walking and looking and quacking like a duck and moving like a duck, don't say it's a dog. Look at it for what it is. And I had to do that. And that was one of the lessons I had to learn, to see things for what they truly are and not what I want to mold it into to be. Every day I watch the Waltons. I don't know if anyone know about that show, but those who do, it comes on Hallmark, and it comes. And if I'm not here to watch it, I record it and then watch it, because that's the family that I always wanted, like the Waltons. They were a tight knit family. Even the grandparents and everyone, the children, the parents, everybody lived together. And when one member of the family or two had some issues, they were the rock behind it, the matriarchs of the family, the grandparents, and how they lift each other up. I never had that. I had a family that was always hating on me, being envious, because I didn't have the same, um, how do I say it, the same interests that they had. They were interested in, what the organization was offering them. Me, I was interested in school, college, and moving forward and doing things to better my life, and there was a time when I was just swaying away from it. And I used to model when I was much younger. And I paid my way through modeling school by working various temp agencies and just starting getting away from it, because there were things that were being allowed to happen that was so not right. And when I question things, it's like just do what you're told kind of attitude. And I was never able to do that because I always felt something was wrong with that scenario. Even in school, like in college, we were always taught that when we did our papers and had to hand in assignments, I can't say that, for example, I'm just using as an example, Abraham Lincoln said, you know, blah, 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 blah. But if I don't recite the source and the excerpt from it, where it came from, it's an automatic failure because it's considered plagiarism. And it's just like everything in life, I can't believe something. I need a source from it. And what was being said and what they were saying, you know, didn't match up. And if you ask too many questions in this cult like organization, you get blacklisted, labeled, And I just couldn't follow the rules and regulation, because when something didn't feel right, I just couldn't continue. And then, always finding myself getting in trouble because I didn't walk the way that they thought I should. And so at the age of 23, I was ousted out and I never returned. I just continued to build me up. And then I started to research who God really was and what kind of God. God is a God of grace and mercy, not this raging lunatic that was depicted to me. That if you don't do A, B, C, and D, God is going to do D, E, and F and G, that kind of thing. And God is a God of grace and mercy, you know. So I was always, from the time that I can remember, labeled as the difficult one, the black sheep. And, when I started, I used to cry about it all the time, hurt, because I did want that kind of family like the Waltons. But I don't have people like that in my family who are like that, because I don't resonate with these folks. And I tried to twist myself inside and out to be and do, but it would never work out that way. And so when I was ousted out of the organization, I just moved away from it. My mom and I became close again when I had my son because she wanted to be a grandmother to her grandchild. And I allowed that to happen. But the rest of the family I've never really connected with, because their belief system and mine is different. But even though you're family and you have different belief system, there should be a foundation there, and it was never there. I had that with my grandparents who are no longer here, but the family itself, I never really had that, not even with siblings. And then, as I started to grow, and after 2020, and God started to help me, because I really, really understood after my mother died how disconnected I am from these folks. I got one condolences from a cousin when my mom died, and when we had to have a memorial service because she died right in the midst of COVID and a shutdown and etc. And no one, when I was on for the memorial service, because it was an online thing, and it's like I wasn't there and I wasn't a part of anything. And I started to realize how much I'm disconnected from these folks and how much we don't resonate. And then some of the nasty comments that were made. And then later on, I started to find out things, the lies, the vicious lies that were told about me, because I'm no longer a part of what they're a part of, things that I would never do, horrific lies, that was, and I got confirmation of this from someone, from a few people. And I'm like, I would never do that. Even if I was, that was put in front of me, I would never do these things because it's not who I am. I don't have a desire for these things, and I wouldn't do. And it was just on and on and on. And when I found out, like the family members that was doing this and saying these things, and behind the scenes trying to set me up for failure, just horrible things. Other people calling the police, filing false reports and saying that I've done things that I would never do. All these things over and over, having cops follow me as I go to work and do my job. They can't stop me. I haven't done anything wrong here. Just things like this, vicious, horrific things, because what they're taught in this cult like organization is that when you leave them, your life fall apart and you don't have a relationship with God and that you're spiritually dead and blah, blah, blah. And they're behind the scenes trying to make that happen, and for a long time, my life felt so messed up. And then it's not because I was doing messed up things, because it was what they were doing behind the scenes. No matter where I moved or where I went or did, they would just somehow get in contact with the people and the places where I lived to just start some trouble, just to bring some hell to my life. And I started to find out about this, and I started to lean on God and really, really cultivate my relationship with God. And once I started that, people, I learned how to transmute that pain. And this is why I always talk about an outlet for the pain. I cried and I, was a mess for a while, because why do these people hate me so much when I never did anything to them? And one of the reasons is because I'm different from them. I'm the black sheep. I'm the one who walked and by a different beat of the drum, and they don't resonate with that. And it's fine, like when I watch the Waltons and people say, oh, that's an online thing, but it really isn't, people, the online thing. What it is that was based on a real story, you know. And when people are, your family members were supposed to be, even if you're different, don't like anything. But when times are hard and things are difficult, everybody pull each other up. I've never had that. I never had the support. So I had to lean on God. I had to learn to let God be my source and my support. And as I did that, I lifted myself up, because I was down to the ground, and the pain and the everything. But I realized I didn't have any support around me, and I had to lean on God. And as I leaned on God, God started to lift me up and to help me, you know. And I started to learn to love myself as I started to heal, and learn that I can't be subservient to other people and putting their needs before my own needs, because that's what I was doing. And as I started to work to do therapy, I started to heal. And as I started to heal, because I was confronted with all the things in my life that was making me feel insignificant, and I had to deal with it and put it all on the table like a pieces of the puzzle, and then start to put that together and see why, I felt so broken. And I had to lean on God, and learn to love me, and learn to know that I was worth it. And as I did that and learned that I was worth it, I started to self love. And as I healed, I start to self care as well. And it's important for us to do that. And for those out there who know and feel like they're the black sheep of their family, continue. What I would say to you is to focus on yourself. Build yourself up, and do the first of all, find a therapist in your area where you live, because many people are listening to this video from different states. Find a therapist, a grief therapist in a state that you live. And when you find that, just start to do the work. What I start to do is a pro and a kind list of the things in my life, and make a goal list of the things that you want to change within yourself and your life to be better. And persevere through it, fight through it, crawl through it. Don't give up on yourself. Invest in you, because you matter, and put yourself as a priority when it comes to healing your physical and mental health. And it's important to do self-care. Self-care to me is music, taking care of my health, my physical and mental health, making sure I eat better, making sure I get enough rest, listening to uplifting videos, to build myself up. And it took a long time for me to get from A to B, and I'm still doing healing. Healing is always an ongoing process, and learn to build you up. And if you have good friends in your life, people that support you, make them your family. Because sometimes we're born into family, we don't have a choice in the matter. We can't um, pick who our family is. All we can do is play the hand that we are dealt, and learn to play that well. And sometimes you have to heal, forgive yourself, forgive the family and other people who did you wrong, and leave them where they are, so that you can move on and take care of yourself and build yourself up and be the best that you can be. You know, some of these folks, like I said, did so much, the lying, the traps, and all this. And I would say these people are on demon time, big time. And, I had learned to forgive myself for anything that I've done, and to forgive them and leave them where they are, you know, um, because what I know, people show you who they are. And when people show me who they are, I have to believe them, no matter who they are, even if you grow up with them and they are on whatever you're not on, and I leave them where they are and leave them in God's hand and move on and focus on myself and build me up, so that I can be better. And then find people who resonate with you, resonate with who you are, and make them your family. And and sometimes if you don't have that, just build you up. And in time, as you do better, you feel better, you do better, you naturally want to take care of yourself. Run yourself a nice bubble bath, put some candles and some music, buy yourself that nice blouse or shirt. I know some men are listening too. All of this applies to you as well. Buy yourself something that you like. Do things that's going to build you up and lift you up. And keep yourself away from toxicity. Minimize the toxicity in your life, because all those things are toxic. Being around family dynamics, that the family who don't build you up, who don't support you. who tell vicious lies and gossip and keep negativity going. All those things are toxicity. And when you are trying to heal your life and the things in it that make you feel so broken down, you can't be around those things. So I pull back my energy and leave people where they are. And it doesn't even just apply to family members, people who were in my inner circle who were just too toxic for me to be around, because I know I had to heal things in my life. And I couldn't heal if I had these individuals in my life, and I had to leave them where they are, forgive them, and move on. Forgiveness is for us so that we can move on. And forgiveness to me doesn't mean that I reconcile with people who are toxic. I just leave them where they are and move on with my life. And it was important that I do so, even though it was difficult. Very important that I did this. And as I continue to do this, you know, I start to feel better and do better. One day at a time, one step at a time. One thing that I say to everyone on this road to recovery and healing is don't give up on yourself. You are to continue to invest in you, because your mental and physical health is everything. Without that, you can't do anything for yourself or anybody else. So continue to invest in you and build yourself up, and be the best that you can be. And when you see things are too toxic, I would suggest to disconnect from it and redirect the focus back to the investment on yourself. That is the message today. I hope this helps someone, because I'm talking about people who feel like they are the black sheep of the family. And, this information that I'm sharing here today, you know, hopefully it can help you. And please connect with a therapist in your area, a grief therapist and a therapist to help you, because you're going to learn so much there too. And also grief bereavement groups, and groups that for people who feel disconnected and in despair, things that's going to lift you up, and make you feel whole again. That's the key factor. And the key factor also is never to give up on yourself, no matter what's going on around you. That's the message today. Thank you all for being here. Share these videos, because someone somewhere, a few people need to hear these messages, because some people don't communicate what they're feeling and what they're going through. But they can be uplifted by coming to this channel and hearing information. And as I said in the beginning of this video, here's something that they can take pieces of a puzzle and put together the picture in their life, because some of this information can really help somebody else. That's what we're here to do. I've learned to turn the pain into power, power into purpose, purpose into paying it forward, to be here to help other people by just sharing, and the information I'm sharing can uplift other people and help them on this journey called life. Thank you again for being here, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. As I said, I'm not sure of the time, but I'll be back. Please subscribe, and you will get a notification to let you know when I'm on live. Thank you, and everyone have a great Wednesday, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now, guys.